Ladies, gentlemen, and young ladies, the situation is very, very serious in Ukraine. When I tell you it's serious, it's serious. So much so that Russia is in bombing Ukraine. Zelensky has just ordered the evacuation, urgent and imminent, of a very important locality in the Donbass. It must be said that it is the last major city of Donbass, which remained under the control of Kiev. Zelensky asks, they ordered the evacuation of all families with all children. I tell you that the situation has reached its epilogue. Zelensky is out of date. Even NATO is exceeded. They provoked Russia H with their recent strike. Russia has so took the severe decision and irreversible to make them regret. You remember I told you that Putin had sworn to give a lesson. This is no longer a lesson. This is no longer a lesson. Yes, it is an education. Ladies, gentlemen, and young ladies, as part of this conference, Geopolitics dedicated to current events, global, it is of course this news that we are going to talk about. But before continuing, I ask you humbly to share the conference at maximum in all groups as long as you can. And don't forget to leave your different opinions in comment. Share it. The time is very, very severe. So let's go into the depths if that suits you. According to official information, an emergency evacuation was ordered in the city of Kramatorsk. Kramatorsk is the last Ukrainian who is in danger now. It's just 20 kilometers from the front, just 20 kilometers from the forehead. Kramatorsk is a symbolic position. Kramatorsk is the last great city of Donbass, still controlled by Kiev, is only 20 kilometers from the line front, while all the other cities are controlled by the Federation from Russia. Quiet. It's the only one city that tries again. It houses the logistics bases and administrative command Ukrainian in the region. So everything that is logistical, basic Ukrainian logistics and military in Donbass is there. This means the Donbass Oblast is finished, so much so that Russian strikes have become exaggerated, and then Russia strikes for calm. These lately we're talking about other regions, other oblasts, but not too much of Donbass. But deep down, Russia hits, but it hits properly. This is one of the rare times that Zelensky makes such a decision. He ordered to evacuate the Dada city because those which fall on the city are not. It is the fire that falls on the city. So, for 2 weeks, Russian forces multiply missile strikes and drones over industrial districts and residential, which completely disorganize the city. That is to say, when one strikes by there, people leave that way. They leave to the other side. Russia hit again, they leave there, they leave that way. Finally, the city is disorganized. There are people who go to eternal rest. Nothing is going well. So the emergency decision was taken, since if the municipal authorities did not make this decision, it is necessary to say that these are the authorities, municipal authorities, who made this decision, which was then buried by Zelensky. If these authorities didn't make that decision, obviously the worst was going to happen, and they were going to be responsible for what happens to population. And so the city council ordered mandatory evacuation. The city council ordered evacuation compulsory for families with children. This is a rare and revealing measure of the seriousness of the situation in the Donbass. So what does this mean in concrete terms? This is a gradual loss of Donbass through Kiev. Ukraine is losing the Donbass since it was the last one big city, even if the city of Kramatorsk is not yet completely busy, but Kramatorsk who is falling very slowly. This is a continuous military retreat since Ukrainian forces are exhausted and under-equipped. These Ukrainian military forces retreat in the face of advancing troops, Russians who are supported by artillery heavy and Geran 2 drones. That is, Russia takes the Ukrainians in 264. You have the forces terrestrials, which are on the ground in the process of to move forward strongly, who do not retreat and who in front of less soldiers equipped, less trained, who are in undernumbered. Meanwhile, they come with heavy artillery. It hits as if all this was not enough. In the sky, it is the Guan who arrive, and then drones too, missiles it hits. Finally, Kramatorsk cannot hold standing. Kramatorsk cannot stand. Situation becomes uncontrollable. It is why the elements of NATO and the European Union should still take the step towards peace. It is better quickly find a compromise. Then that's why it's a matter of land. No, Ukraine is not going to give up this land, and Ukraine is being destroyed like that. It is pride that is in this case. Let's go a little further into the depths. I want to see a lot of share, please. So, it's a moral collapse since the inhabitants speak of fear. The locals themselves say that they are afraid. There is the lack of refueling and abandonment by the central authorities. The state itself has abandoned because it is serious that will take the risk of going to deliver the everything that is logistics and others. Knowing that he has the heavy artillery, which is in progress, the Gerans too are there to strike at any time. The sky Ukrainian is controlled by the Federation from Russia, so Kramatorsk becomes a symbol of the Ukrainian disarray, and this is a signal of panic in Kiev. Crisis communication, the Ukrainian government tried to present this evacuation as a preventive measure, but the facts translate panic. It is not a preventive measure, that is to say Zelensky's presidency. They have wanted to say, well, this serious, but we are in the process of getting them evacuated just to anticipate things, to prevent. However, these are measures, consequences of Russian strikes. These are measures that are taken because that the situation has become very serious and urgent. That's the problem. So the strategic reality is that this decision proves that the defense of Donbass is now untenable. There is no longer defense in Donbass, even in the areas that are supposed to be secure. So there is the loss of confidence of the people. Families who leave Kramatorsk no longer believes in promises of victory. They are in the process of flee, a war that is approaching the house. Many families have started to leak. It is also necessary remember that it is following these leaks that the order was given to them evacuate. But we evacuate them, we send where specifically. And so for the Kremlin, it is a demonstration of strength and power. This is proof that military pressure is bearing its fruits and that the sanctions on all plans of the West cannot hold on. And so, young ladies and gentlemen, that was the front page of international news. Thank you for the share as much as possible. I'll get back to you soon with news information. It was, of course, the voice from your humble servant, the Samurai.